Welcome to Module 5, and this particular section is all about creating a CRUD application in React. And what we're going to do is take our data that we're sending back from our API and present that in our browser via our React application. So let's take a look at what's coming up in this particular module. And what we're going to start with is take a look at our folder structure. Our React application could do with a bit of organization, and we're going to take a look at the strategy we'll use to organize our projects. Then we'll take a look at actually building the CRUD application, and we're going to do this locally initially. We're going to get the data from our API, but then everything we do to create, read, update, or delete with that data, we're just going to see it locally. And we'll introduce persistence in the next section, but for this section we're just going to do everything locally, although we will be working with the data that we get back from our API. We're also going to take a look at React hooks in this section. In the previous section we used a React class component, but now we want to look at the future of React, and we're going to build all of our components using React hooks and functional components. We're not going to create any more class components in our application, and the class component we do have is going to go, and it's going to be replaced or refactored with a React hook functional component version of that particular component. We also want to take a look at forms in React. We need to be able to create and edit our activities, and that means using forms. Now we'll look at doing this in pure React at this stage, and later on we'll introduce a forms package to help us build forms in our application. But at this stage we'll just look at everything that we can purely in React for now. And we'll also further look into semantic UI to style our application. So that's what's coming up in this module, but now let's take a look at the before and after, where we come from and where we're going to. And this is the current state of our application. Woohoo! We can display 3 values on our page, and we have a header and an icon crammed all into the top left-hand corner. Where we're going with this is we want to actually have something that resembles an application. Now we're going for what could be considered the equivalent of a to-do list, where we have the ability to create, view, edit, and delete our activities, and that's what we're going to be achieving by the end of this section. It's all going to be stored locally, as I mentioned earlier on, but that's what we're heading to. So what we'll take a look at next is I do just briefly want to discuss React hooks before we start using them, and we'll take a look at that next.